What is up, everybody? It is Sean O from the Upper Tier Podcast, and a welcome to NXT Revolution, or NXT Review Show. Of course, we are just a couple days out from NXT Stand and Deliver, the biggest show of the year. That was Saturday, and now we are dealing with the fallout, and quite a positive fallout it has been. We had quite an enjoyable NXT last night. So let's get into it. We started off the night with our brand new NXT champion, Tony D'Angelo. So congratulations to Tony. He is an amazing talent. He's been in NXT for 5 years and hasn't won the title up until now, which I think is absolutely crazy considering the talent he is. He is truly unbelievable. He is a very talented wrestler, and very underrated too. And it's quite sad that it took this long for him to get the title, but nonetheless, it is well deserved, and I am a thousand times glad that he won the title. Made his entrance last night and cut a promo saying how he would take everything, and this was step two of the plan. Now we've got step three, which is defending the title. He also said that anybody that comes near the title will fall at his knees, fall on their knees, I suppose. Um, yeah, that led to Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Joe Hendry all coming out and creating a big confrontation about who's getting their rematch at the NXT title. That led to Dark State making an appearance and attacking all four men. This led to an absolute monster of a brawl. And once we came back from break, it took us backstage where Robert Stone said that at the top of the hour, they would face Dark State in a eight-man tag match. And we will get to that in just a bit because this was one of my highlights of NXT. Next up, we got the Vanity Project teaming with Miss Blake Monroe. At Stand and Deliver, Tatum Paxley, the Women's North American champion, took on Blake Monroe for the title, and Tatum retained. Obviously, with Blake failing to get the title back and become a two-time Women's North American champion, she needed a bit of cheering up, folks. So we did. And who better than the Vanity Project for that? The Vanity Project, I think, have been phenomenal on NXT, full stop. They were amazing on Evolve, and I've been following them since Evolve started. They've been absolutely brilliant. And when they got moved up to NXT, I was fully sure they would become the tag team champions, and they did just that. I I don't know what to say. I'm really enjoying the Vanity Project on NXT. I think they've been phenomenal so far, and I always use the word phenomenal, but it's just my way of describing how good things have been. So it led backstage to Robert Stone's office, where the Vanity Project surprised Blake Monroe with her own custom Women's North American title. It was also announced that Blake would face Tatum again that night with a tag team partner of her choice against Shiloh Hill in a mixed tag match. Blate, Blatum? Blatum? That's a cute shipping name. So it is. Blake ended up picking Jackson Drake, the leader of the Vanity Project and the first ever Evolve champion. So an absolute great pick in Jackson Drake. The two of them took on Shiloh and Tatum later on that night and defeated them after Blake hit her glamour shot DDT, which I think is a brilliant name for her finisher, even though it's just future shock DDT, but a great move nonetheless. This was a fantastic match. I am 100% on board for Blake teaming with the Vanity Project. I'm kind of hoping this weekly thing, to say the least. Um, because obviously Blake has her whole glamorous forever, and the Vanity Project are just that. Um, they're very vain, and I feel like their character and Blake's character go hand in hand. Don't know why. 6, 7. No, no, we're not doing that in this podcast. Not a chance. That was for Bren because Bren hates when I do that. Screw you, Bren. 6, 7. Uh, I'm going off on a tangent here, but we have to enjoy ourselves on the podcast, folks. You know yourself. Um, but yes, I am 100% up for the Vanity Project and Blake Monroe teaming. I think it would be 100% brilliant, and I'm hoping this wasn't a one-time thing because I feel like NXT have kind of got into the habit of giving us a taste of something good for 1 week, and then the next week it's kind of non-existent, which I feel like is the one bad thing about NXT. So I'd like if to kind of keep the Vanity Project and Blake Monroe up for just another while. I think they could be great, um, a great faction, and have them run and maybe all get titles. Blake get her NXT Women's Championship or her Women's North American title back, and maybe Jackson Drake gets the North American. I think that would be really cool. Moving on, we had a speed tournament match. Lexis King of Birthright took on the debuting, um, oh God, what's his name? Starboy Charlie, who has debuted in NXT, and a brilliant debut it was at that. He took on Lexis King last night in the speed tournament match under the name Chaz Starboy Hall. So I like the way they kind of kept the Starboy, and he got his own little vignette or promo, talking about where he came from, etc., on the Indies, how well he did in the Indies leading up to now. And if anybody has seen clips of him or watched his work or followed him, you know how talented he is. Like he's been training to be a wrestler since he was, I think he said like maybe 12 or 13, which is crazy. Because even I couldn't do half the stuff he does when I was 12 or 13, and I'm 21 now. So it's really cool to see him on NXT. He also has a match later on this week, on Evolve against the current Evolve champion, Aaron Rourke, for the title. So I will be looking forward to that match. Obviously, Lexis King picking up the win last night and advancing in the speed tournament match. I don't know how I'm feeling about the Birthright, to be honest. They haven't made much of a statement in NXT as of yet. I feel like they're just kind of there. They made this whole big deal about Charlie Dempsey leaving the NQCC and joining Birthright, and so far nothing has been done. They're kind of just getting maybe one match every week, and that's about it. There's nothing too special about it. So I'm kind of hoping. I was hoping leading to Stand and Deliver we get some good storyline, and we just didn't. So I'm kind of hoping to turn it around a little bit and we get something good. Yeah, overall not too bad. We also got Keanu Carver, Jasper Troy, and Josh Briggs in a triple threat match last night. And this was pound for pound, meat for meat. Three absolutely humongous guys. I like to say Obafemi sized guys because they're just that big. Absolutely get into it and brawl last night. Keanu Carver picking up the win in a brilliant match. Wasn't too long of a match, short and sweet and absolutely delicious to say the least. Next up, our NXT Women's Champion, our brand new champion, Lola Vice, after picking up the win at Stand and Deliver against Kendall Gray and JC Jane in a triple threat match. I think it's long overdue too that Lola Vice won the title. She's been in NXT since I think 2022. Um, So I think it's well earned at this point. Um, and she's a phenomenal talent. Usually, when you think of wrestlers that start off in MMA and then move over to the WWE side, they just don't get it, and sometimes they don't just click well. Ronda Rousey was a great example, and I'm a Ronda Rousey fan. Me personally, I enjoyed her in WWE, but I just don't think she was as good in WWE as she is in MMA. Um, but I feel like Lola Vice really put in the work and put in the effort and made that transition easy for herself and did it perfectly and flawlessly, to be honest with you. She's a brilliant wrestler and she hits hard. You can definitely tell she has that MMA background. EMA? MMA, duh, background. And I'm very excited for her reign. I think she will be a brilliant champion. Now, she cut a promo and said that she was probably the best signing of 2022. A bit of a stretch. I think a lot of people forget in 2022, Cody Rhodes got signed back to WWE and made a return. So maybe the best signing for the women, but definitely not overall. And I'm a Cody Rhodes fan, but not a Cody Rhodes fan at the same time. I'll get into that a bit of another day. I'll get into a bit of that. I'll get into it a bit another day. Yeah, sorry, I can't speak today. Whatever's with me. Tiredness, folks. It's a bitch. Um, yeah, look, it was a good promo. JC Jane and Fatal Influence came out. And to be honest, I wasn't really expecting this. For JC Jane and Fatal Influence to come out and confront Lola and ask for that rematch. I was kind of hoping after JC lost the title, they'd use it as an opportunity to move Fatal Influence up to the main roster. And it just seems like that's not going to happen anytime soon. Um, Fatal Influence attacked Lola Vice, but Lola Vice fought them off and stood tall with both titles in hand. I forgot to mention Lola is a double champion now. She is both NXT Women's Champion and Triple A Mixed Tag Team Champion with Mr. Iguana, absolute legend if you haven't seen him. We love his puppet, Laieska. Um, but yeah, look, I'm praying Fatal Influence get a move up and a call up at some point, but I don't think this should be broken up. And I've seen a lot of this the past 24 hours, especially on Twitter. Everyone saying, if Fatal Influence are being moved up to the main roster, keep them together and don't just have JCJ move up. I said a few weeks back on, I think, the women's show or one of the NXT reviews, I'm not too sure which show it was, that it wouldn't really make sense for Laney and Fallon to get moved up just because of the fact they haven't been in NXT as long as JC Jane has. And once you look at it, JC Jane really is one of the veterans of the roster. She has been in NXT since 2020, maybe. So like she's been in NXT for 5 or 6 years. So she really is a veteran of the locker room. But just get them out of there. I don't think the rematch was needed. Um, I think just move NXT up at this point. NXT, just move Fatal Influence up at this point. Uh, I feel like they've done all they can in NXT, all that they need to do. Get them up and get them going for the tag titles or the women's mid card titles on the main roster. 100%. Get them onto the SmackDown roster, in my opinion, because we all know the SmackDown roster is lacking majorly. And I feel like if we move JC Jane and Fatal Influence up, I think it would make up for the fact we never got Toxic Attraction on the main roster. I think that WWE firing Mandy Rose was the stupidest thing they could have ever done. Because of what Toxic Attraction could have done on the main roster, would have been unbelievable. It would have been God work. So I feel like if they move Fatal Influence up, that could fill the void that Toxic Attraction could have at the time if moved up. Yeah, look, let's move on to our 8-man tag match. We got Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, NXT champion Tony D'Angelo take on Dark State in the main event. And an absolute brilliant match this was. I'd probably say it was the highlight of my night. Um, just for the fact of what happened at the end. Um, Tony D'Angelo hit uh, Shaquan Sugars, I think his name is Sugars, with his finisher, and Ethan Page got in the ring, kicked Tony D'Angelo, knocking him out of the ring, hitting Sugars with the twisted grin, and getting the pin victory for his team. This was a low move by Ethan Page. Ethan Page, you are absolute scum. How dare you do that to our boy Tony D'Angelo? I'm extremely disappointed in this. Overall, I'm happy they won, but not how it went down. So that has led to a match now, and we will get into that in just a minute. And just when we thought Soul Worker and Zarya were done, they are not. I was kind of in the same boat as JC Jane for the fact that I thought after Stand and Deliver, Soul would get moved up to the main roster, but it seems Zarya isn't letting it go that easy. Soul Worker took on the Cullings Izzy Dame in a match last night, but failed to win the match after Zarya came out of the crowd and hit Soul with a spear, causing Izzy Dame to pick up the victory. So it seems we've got another long-standing feud in NXT, and I think this has become a massive problem in WWE that they just don't know when to end feuds. You either have an extremely short feud that just doesn't go anywhere and ends after one match, or you have a substantially long feud that lasts weeks or months even. So it looks like this is one of those feuds that it's going to last a few months. When it will end, we don't know, but I presume it will be very long. I'm absolutely loving the work of Zarya. I feel like, as bad as it sounds, she has been in Soul Worker's shadow the past year or so, or since debuting even, since Zarya and Soul teamed up. Um, so we haven't got to see much of Zarya and who she is and what she can do. I feel like Stand and Deliver was that little sneak peek into what she can do. But I'm kind of hoping she absolutely dominates Soul in this feud and wins the feud overall, because I'd really like to lean into her character and see what she can do. Because if anyone's seen her work on the indies, she is phenomenal. So I'm thinking, because we haven't seen much into her character, that fans would like to see more. So I'm hoping to kind of use the feud as an opportunity to do that. So I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. Um, yeah, last little bit, folks. Next week on NXT is week 1 of NXT Revenge. Ooh la la. We've got a new show, a new special, I should say. WWE and NXT kind of don't lean into PLEs much anymore. It's more for NXT special episodes, I guess you could say. So it looks like we're going to have a 2-week event. We've got week 1 here with a absolute brilliant card. Obviously, after the ending to the 8-man tag match, Ethan Page is getting his rematch at the week 1 of Revenge next week for the NXT Championship. JC Jane is also getting her rematch against Lola Vice. Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker are going 1-on-1 next week as well, after a confrontation outside the performance center or outside the gym even. If anyone didn't see Kalani Jordan's live She got into her car and Jada Parker was trying to get into the car, which made things a thousand times funnier. And I'm actually quite enjoying this feud, and I don't think that WWE are really showing enough of it. They've just kind of let it sit down and lie down and have focused on feuds like Soul and Zarya and Ethan Page and Ricky Saints and Joe Hendry and all those other guys, and just kind of forgetting that uh, Jada and Kalani are there. It's been a brilliant feud so far, as little as we have got. Um, so I'm kind of hoping we get a little more, and hopefully this will be the end of it next week at Revenge, and a good match it shall be. We're also getting a live concert from former NXT champion Joe Hendry, which will be interesting. I hope it is a kind of little shoot on Tony D'Angelo and Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, a little song about them, because we all know Joe Hendry writes a brilliant song and shoots on people, kind of like The Rock does with his songs. So that should be a good little segment, nonetheless. Also, Zarya and Sol Ruka are going one on one in a last woman standing match, which I think will be brilliant. So maybe next week could actually be the end of the feud. We don't know. As I said, it's a long-standing feud by the looks of things. So maybe it isn't the end. But I'm kind of hoping Zarya picks up the win. And obviously, I'll be giving you guys my predictions later on during the week, uh, towards NXT next Tuesday. Um, and we also have one more little bit for Revenge next week. The first ever Evolve Women's Champion, Miss Callie Armstrong, is making her debut at Revenge next week. What a brilliant talent she is. She had a great reign as Evolve Women's Champion, and to be honest, I don't think she was shown enough. Um, as the talent she is. I think she was very downplayed on Evolve, and I'm praying to God that she's put in a good storyline and a good feud, and potentially win the Women's North American title off Tatum Paxley or Blake Monroe or whoever's holding the title in the next while. Um, and we have yet to see who she's facing next week when she debuts. And I'm very excited for this debut because obviously I've been following her since Evolve, and I think she is a million bucks. Folks, that is your NXT review. I went off on a few tangents, but that is to be expected and 100% okay. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. And folks, do leave a comment and let me know what you think of the show, what I'm missing, what you'd like me to comb over, I suppose. And let me know your opinions on NXT. Um, the more you like the video, the more you share, the more you comment, you're boosting the channel and you're helping us out 100%. All of us lads put 1,000 times effort into the shows every week, and your support absolutely means the world to us. So do like, share, and comment. Um, yeah, and as I said, let me know what you think, folks. That's your NXT review for the week. What a show we had, and yeah, hopefully we'll have some more word on Revenge closer to next week, and I will give you some of my predictions towards the end of the week too. Folks, thank you so much for watching the video. That is your chef's kiss for the week.